So, you know that moment where Navani's like, journey before destination, you bastard?
Yeah.
Made Navani like one of my top 3 favorite characters of all time.
Yeah, it's surprising how easy it is for someone to become a really, like, top-tier character in the Stormlight Archive by just having to put up with Moash.
Fuck Moash, though.
Yeah, legitimately, like, piece of shit.
I'm sorry that, like, our mid-month episodes are becoming, like, incredibly Cosmere-related all the time.
Look, it's the middle of the month, and you know what that means. Welcome back to Cosmere Conversations.
Welcome back to In the Cosmere.
Exactly.
Inside the Cosmere. The podcast where we invite you into the Cosmere to enjoy the books with us, because it's some of the best high fantasy... Is it high fantasy?
I mean...
No, it's not high fantasy.
It's not high fantasy.
Yeah, because high fantasy is like Lord of the Rings, elves,
it's like elves,
dwarves.
just.
Yeah.
It's honestly more of like, it's hard fantasy for the most part, and it has sci-fi elements as well.
Yeah.
And Western elements.
I love, like, so for the people listening to this podcast who aren't part of my basically monthly D&D campaign, we were playing D&D recently, and at some point conversation got started about like really impactful lines, and like somebody said something, and like all I could think about was the moment in Way of Kings where Dalinar's like, where Kaladin goes, how could you trade your shard blade? They're priceless.
Yeah.
And Dalinar goes, yes, but I traded it for all of the bridgemen of the bridges.
So Kaladin asked how he could trade his shard blade.
And Dalinar's like, how much would you put on the cost of a shard blade?
And Kaladin's like, it's priceless. How much would you put on the price of a man? Priceless.
And he's like, I just traded one priceless sword for 26 priceless men. And it's like, Dalinar!
I think it was a great deal, basically, yeah.
Like, and the entire table popped, even though only 2 of us are, like, actually embedded in the Cosmere at this point. Like, the entire table was like, that's fucking sick. And it's like,
I love that one, and I love the 10 spears go to war.
Yeah.
9 break, 1 returns. Did the war forge that spear, or did it just identify the one that wouldn't break?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking... Love me some Brandon Sanderson quotes.
The most important step a man can take is always the next one.
Is the next.
Oh.
Always the next. Yeah.
But yeah.
Or the one that is, it's not as impactful. Like, I don't see people talking about it being as impactful most of the time, but it's like, sometimes a hypocrite is just a person going through change.
Yeah. It's such a good quote. I guess I'm going to catch up the podcast with where I'm at in the Cosmere. I just finished the 4th book in Stormlight Archive, Rhythm of War.
Wind and Truth is next.
Wind and Truth is the only Stormlight book I need left to read. And other than that, I have White Sands, Sunlit Man, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, Emperor's Soul, and one other book about Elantris. Soul. No, that might be it. It might just be those 4.
Hope of Elantris?
Hope of Elantris, that's what it is, yeah.
Have you listened to the first of Dusk?
Nope, so 6 books.
3 of those are like short novellas.
Yeah. I'm so close to done. I'm halfway through White Sands now, and like...
Yeah. White Sands is just a vibe. Like, it gets so much hate, and people are like, it's the worst one. Honestly, it might be one of the weaker ones, but it's still really fucking good. But every time I hear someone talk about it, they like talk about it badly, and it's just like, it's not bad. It's still a great fucking Brandon Sanderson read, man.
Well, it's like, Elantris is like, most people's like least favorite book in the Cosmere, and like, Elantris was really fun for me. Elantris was really, really good. I liked Elantris. I liked the parallel story arcs and like the politics and like the idea of a religious person like who doesn't actually believe in their religion but like believes that that's the best way for people to live, so they're still out there trying to convince. Like it's a very good book. I just don't like. I don't see why I got so much hate.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
I will say the book that gets the book that like outside of the direct Stormlight or Mistborn that gets the most love is Tress.
Yeah.
And Tress in the Emerald Sea deserves the love.
Tress in the Emerald Sea is great.
It might be my favorite book in the Cosmere. Like, just single standalone best book in the Cosmere.
Yeah. I also love how that and White Sands is just like, look, man, investiture works really well with sand. And also, either I can't tell whether it really likes water or hates water.
Also, Warbreaker is one of my favorites.
Warbreaker's fucking fantastic.
I think the standalone novels, like,
they're amazing.
So good.
And they don't get enough love because they're not part of massive, long-going arcs, but like,
Warbreaker
they're still fantastic.
Warbreaker directly ties to Stormlight.
Warbreaker ties into Stormlight so fucking hard.
Mm-hmm. It's just like 90% of the story is irrelevant to Stormlight.
Yeah, you don't need it, but it's so nice to have in the background.
But it's also like my second favorite book of the Cosmere.
Yeah, look, there's just something about reading the Stormlight Archive and seeing like a few characters pop up and being like, hey, this person that you have interacted with in like passing multiple times, yeah, that one is hunting that other one across the Cosmere.
It's the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he goes, "Oh, I know that."
Yeah, basically.
And just points. Yeah, every time you're like, "Oh, I know that one."
But it's also like the instance I'm talking about. It's nice where it's just like, man, if you had to like the one wrong thing to either one of these two people, you would have created so many more problems for yourself than you already have.
Yeah, it's like on my TikTok feed is a guy who's reading through the Stormlight for the first time. He's finished everything else outside of it, other than like the spoiler books for the Stormlight,
which really kind of just one.
Yeah, but he's just finished Way of Kings, and it made me want to go back and reread Way of Kings because, like,
now that you are aware of other things in the Cosmere, you're like, there's so much to read and notice.
He was making clicks that I missed.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, apparently Way of Kings was the first book to ever mention the Ghost Bloods.
Yes,
but I didn't know what the Ghost Bloods were. I didn't know what the Ghost Bloods were when I read Way of Kings.
Yeah.
Now I do. So going back and like rewatching that connections for him, yeah.
Oh yeah. Like my reread of it was very nice, given the fact that I'd read everything else.
But anyways,
well, except for like Tress and Yumi, because those hadn't been released yet, and Sunlight Man.
Anyways, we want to steer away from Cosmere because I think we can only sustain so much time on the Cosmere before people turn this off. It's like wrestling in the way that it's like a single...
but nerdier and better.
Won't hear me disagree.
Yeah. I know you wouldn't. You can't.
Although, on wrestling note,
yeah,
I'm not currently keeping up with any wrestling, but you remember I told you R-Truth was fired? Well, his contract wasn't renewed with WWE?
Yes.
And people were very upset because he's a very beloved character?
Yes.
And then he came back at Money in the Bank and attacked John Cena.
Yeah. Is he gone again?
No, Monday night he cut a promo where he cut off his cornrows.
Yeah.
And he's no longer going by R-Truth, he's now Ron Killings.
Okay. They're letting him use his actual name?
Yeah.
Wild.
So the internet and Triple H are claiming the entire thing was a work, but the dirt sheets and wrestlers who should been in on it are claiming it wasn't a work.
Nice.
For non-wrestling fans, a work means something that's part of the show. It's part of the story. Fiction. The thing is, if it was a work, I can't imagine Triple H is not in so much trouble with his bosses at TKO, because TKO is the company that owns WWE, by the way. Because not renewing R-Truth's contract caused an actionable dip in TKO's stock prices because of the backlash from the fans.
Yeah.
So it's not like the news was just R-Truth's contract's not renewed. It was R-Truth, Carlito, and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Everybody else's contracts looks like they're not renewed. They're gone. These people are gone. But R-Truth's was part of a story.
Yeah, of course.
I don't buy it. If it's true, it's incredibly disrespectful to the other people that you let go at the same time.
Yeah. It's incredibly fiscally irresponsible.
Yeah. And if it's not true, why lie like this? Why not just...
because WWE could never be in the wrong.
Why not just openly be like, yeah, no.
We were unaware people liked R-Truth this much.
Yeah, like, due to fan response, we have renewed R-Truth because apparently people love him, which people do. He's been killing it, no pun intended, for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Across a little bit of time at TNA, but like since 1997, 1998, he's been with WWE.
For basically all of it, yeah.
Yeah, like there was like a 4 or 5 year period where he was with TNA.
Some of his best stuff.
Yeah, when he was Ron Killings.
Yeah.
Oh, Ron the Truth Killings.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It just seems a little fucked up to like use actual releases.
Yeah.
Try to further your story without like engaging the people that are actually released in any way to like, I don't know.
It seems like something WWE would do.
Yeah.
Wild.
I'm trying to think of a very specific word that means like cold and like without moral...
unscrupulous?
Maybe. Not quite the word I was looking for, but like it just seems like very that.
Yeah.
Because you announced all these releases at the same time.
Yeah.
All of them are real except one.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think it's true. I just think for some reason you can never be like, hey, we made a small blunder, or hey, things didn't go the way we wanted them to. Instead it's always, no, we're right.
I'll openly say Wizards of the Coast fucks up a lot.
Yeah.
And like, I don't really buy any Wizards of the Coast products anymore.
Nah.
But when they fuck up and the fans actually like respond in a way that forces them to change their hand, WotC is always very good about being like, hey, yeah, so we made a mistake. And this is how we're going to fix that mistake. They're not always good at fixing the mistake. They're not always good at like taking responsibility. But like whenever they do like have to walk something back, they're open about it and like pretty honest about it.
Yeah.
Which is why WotC gets like a little bit of a pass sometimes.
Yeah.
It's why I still engage with their products even if I'm not spending money on their products.
Yeah, same.
But I also don't engage with TKO or WWE, like...
yeah, haven't for years, really.
I mean, I watched WrestleMania last year.
Wild.
Because Cody Rhodes won the title finally.
Yeah.
And, like, that was a story I've been following since AEW.
Fair.
But I didn't watch... I didn't watch Rumble this year, and I didn't watch WrestleMania this year, which are, like, the two shows I almost always watch out of WWE. I just didn't care.
I don't blame you. How's it feel to just not care about wrestling stuff?
I mean, I still care about AEW. I really need to catch up. But
I said wrestling stuff, not all of wrestling.
No, fair enough. Yeah. I guess, I don't know, like, because even though AEW is my preferred wrestling brand these days.
Yes.
WWE is something I grew up watching, and so like there's a nostalgia to that. Even though when I was a very small child, WCW is what I grew up watching.
Yeah.
But like WWE obviously assumed that, and like WWE is WCW now, so like that nostalgia like is there for WWE. But WWE hasn't been like a good principled company in forever, and they treat
Basically
people like shit. I said forever.
Yeah, true.
And they do this release company practices.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Although they've announced for the Saudi Arabia show this summer, the headlining match is going to be John Cena versus CM Punk. Which is really funny because CM Punk publicly mocked The Miz 2019, saying, "Shut up and go suck that blood money Saudi cock."
Yeah.
In reference to Mike working Saudi shows.
Yep.
And now he's working Saudi.
No, CM Punk just wants people to like him. He doesn't care why they like him.
CM Punk is like the most kind of like so let me paint CM Punk for you in a realm that you'll understand. If you never knew anything about CM Punk as a person, if you grew up in like the metalcore, hardcore music scene, you'll know straight edges.
Yeah.
And there are some straight edges. I've been friends with a few. One of my best friends is a straight edge, but like he doesn't like wear it.
Yeah.
He just
lives
it.
The correct way to go about like any personal philosophy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just live it.
CM Punk is not a person who just lives it. He is straight edge, but he has to make sure everybody knows he's straight edge. He's vegetarian, I believe. He has to make sure everybody knows he's vegetarian. He isn't one of those people that can just live his life. He has to live everything he does very loud because how he lives his life implies that he's better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants you to know that he thinks he's better than you.
Yeah.
But as soon as the opportunity arises where he can make
money
a legitimate payday, like let's not oversell how much money he's going to make for the Saudi show. He'll drop his morals right away.
Yeah.
Shitty person.
No, they're just a thing you can use to claim to be better than people.
Yeah.
Until they get in his way.
So my point being, like, if you've never met CM Punk, he is one of the straight edge people who, like, are straight edge, but only because it gives them moral superiority. Yeah. Only because it gives them moral superiority. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason why. Yeah.
You know what I know about wrestling as of recently? Like, the only thing I'm aware of?
Goldberg claims he hasn't retired yet?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Okay.
That Kenny Omega did a commercial for new Street Fighter 6 content.
I love Kenny
By new, I mean a re-release or special version that just has like all of the fighters already in it. But I know this because I watched the Summer Game Fest 2025.
I did not.
I know you didn't.
But I also love Kenny Omega. That man is a gym.
Yeah. So there was quite a few like things announced that I personally think look neat, and there's a few that I think you would be more interested in, like just because it's one of those things that I know you enjoy. I know you haven't played a lot of them recently, but like you're still always vaguely interested in them when they come out.
Okay.
The new Resident Evil was announced.
Yeah, it actually showed up on my Steam wish list.
Resident Evil 9 Requiem, which
Discovery Queue.
Yeah, which seems like it's following the daughter of a character from fucking Resident Evil Outbreak.
Man, you know, between Requiem, which I saw, like, maybe not what they showed at Summer Games, but they have a trailer for it on Steam.
It was probably that trailer.
Probably. Between the Requiem trailer and then Silent Hill Fortissimo trailer, horror games look like they're going to be fucking great this year.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There's another game that I think you might be interested in, Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver, which looked like vaguely Hades-esque, but also like Souls-like. And I couldn't tell which vibe it was, but I know you like both of those things. So, it has good visual art style, at least.
It's a 4-player co-op action RPG.
Yeah, it's Afro-surrealism.
Ooh, baby.
But one of the things I saw that I was the most hyped for was the new Scott Pilgrim game.
Yeah, you mentioned this vaguely while I was half asleep.
Yeah, it's Scott Pilgrim EX, which looks basically the same, but with like some better art.
Scott Pilgrim EX can only be played on top of a current Scott Pilgrim that's in play.
Yes.
And it evolves into Scott Pilgrim EX, and the EX rule applies to Scott Pilgrim EX, meaning if the opponent destroys your Scott Pilgrim EX, they get 2 prizes instead of 1.
Sure. Since you know so much about the games from the Summer Game Fest, go ahead.
It was a Pokemon reference. Pokemon TCG thing.
Yeah, I realize. But it looks very similar to the OG Scott Pilgrim versus the World game that was released on like Xbox Live Arcade.
The side-scroller, yeah. The side-scroller beat 'em up. That finally got a re-release like...
Yeah, I have it on the Switch.
During COVID?
Yeah, I have it on the Switch. We honestly should play it at some point more. But it looks very similar to that. Better art. But the world looks more expansive, like there's more storylines. And it's a completely new original story made by Brian Lee O'Malley.
Nice.
So even if the game was shit, I'd be hyped because I get new Scott Pilgrim story.
That's fair.
I have read all of it, watched the movie, watched the anime, because it's an anime, fuck you people. Played the original game, and now I want to play this one.
Fair enough.
There is also Square Enix has a game coming out.
Ooh, do tell.
That is a I think it's like 24-player lobby.
Don't care.
Social deduction game.
I don't care.
Yeah, no. I'm explaining this because I'm not interested in it. And like, it looks, in my opinion, quite bad.
Holy shit. All you had to do was say 24 players. I was like, yeah.
It's a murder mystery game.
Like, obviously that's better than like 24 player
I might be
FPS,
wrong, but
like, or 24 player extraction shooter, like 24 player murder mystery, way better. I don't want to play that game with 23 randoms.
Yeah, and we were separated into 2 teams, wolves and lambs, but the lambs don't know who's on their team. They have to try to find the murderers.
Nope.
And it's just like, that sounds like it'd be fine if it was like legitimately one person and a smaller thing, and even then it's just Among Us, but Square Enix, so it looks prettier.
You know what? I really don't want to hear anything out of Square Enix unless it's one of the following, okay?
Yeah.
A Blitzball spin-off game.
No.
Hold on, hear me out.
No, I'm just saying they're never going to do it.
No, yeah, 100%. A Final Fantasy VIII remake.
Okay.
A Parasite Eve remake.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Or a new Final Fantasy game in general.
Yeah.
Or a new Final Fantasy Tactics game. Those are the 5 things I'm willing to hear about Square Enix. I guess also Voice of Cards, but like,
yeah.
If you're announcing anything else, Square, I don't really care about it right now.
Fair.
I want Parasite Eve re-released for the modern world.
I would like your re-releases of like 7 to not take
a decade,
over a decade, and
decade and a half.
I'd like you to do one for 8, but please don't change it as much as you did 7 and make it faster.
Maybe make it only 2 parts.
Yeah, like I get the game originally came in 4 discs. You don't got to do it again. It's fine. Also, you didn't charge me for each disc last time.
You don't understand. It's thematic though, because it calls back to the nostalgia of having to change discs.
Yeah, but I didn't have to pay for each disc.
Yeah, you did. You just paid for them all at once.
Yeah, I don't think $280 is the equivalent, like, rise in price there.
It might be by the time it comes out.
Fair.
Ooh.
But more importantly to me, like, I think that I was hyped for when I originally saw it, and I've been wanting more information on Ryuga Gotoku. Mm-hmm. They make the Yakuza games. They're good. I enjoy them.
Oh, yeah, okay. The other game series that you might associate Kenny Omega with.
Yeah. They make Judgment, which I enjoy. Judgment and Lost Judgment a lot more than I do Yakuza, which I know most people don't agree with, but I do.
I can understand it.
It has more serious story.
And the games feel a little more linear.
Yeah.
Like, Yakuza's an open world mess of...
Yeah, and Judgment has that open world mess, but you also have a coherent story you can go do if you want to.
Yakuza technically has a coherent story.
Yeah, I know.
It's mostly about Majima.
True. But, like, last year they announced a new project that they were calling Project Century.
Okay.
And when we first saw it, it was like 1914 or some shit.
And like, they announced it with a music video from Fall Out Boy.
And it looked really fucking cool.
Okay.
And we got an update on that this year, and it's like 30 years later, or some shit like that. Much later.
Okay.
Character looks the exact same. And we got the name for the game, which is called Stranger Than Heaven.
Oh yeah, you mentioned this.
Yeah. And this is just me off the cuff being like, I don't know, maybe the reason why they call it Project Century. It feels like perhaps the character is immortal or some form of long lifespan. So we're going to have like different time eras in the game we're going to be experiencing. And they looked quite fleshed out, which I wouldn't be surprised by because it's Ryuga Gotoku. They do pretty good sized maps that are fairly well fleshed out, like city simulations. So seems dope. I'm interested. I was slightly sad to not see anything more about American Showa Story.
Yeah, I remember something about that.
The one where it's like a zombie apocalypse
in
America, but America
ruled by Japan.
Is basically ruled by Japan.
Yeah.
And the Showa, it's the Showa era, but in America, but Japanese, and I think there's a zombie outbreak. Game seems like it was like, I don't know, man, I had like 5 ideas, and I thought, why not? But it seems neat / weird as fuck, and I kind of want to play that, but we didn't get any updates about it. Though, I did see a trailer for a new Onimusha game.
God, Onimusha was like my first experience with a game that like did not want me to like be able to beat it.
Yeah.
Like, I would later play Devil May Cry and then eventually get into Souls games. But Onimusha was the first game that was like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. There's also a new Dying Light come out. Dying Light the Beast.
Oh yeah, it's it's not a new game because it's part of 2, I believe. But like, it's a new game mode for 2.
Yeah, you're hunting down the guy who created it all and you're gonna try to kill him. Not the person who created the games.
Although that would be very meta and very hilarious.
Yeah, but it's not a Kojima game, so... Instead, you're hunting down the person who started the zombie apocalypse, basically.
Which makes way more sense in game.
Yeah. I mean...
I did start playing Dying Light again very recently.
Yeah?
Finally got it to work.
Nice.
I had to go and install a patch to another program to make Dying Light work.
fucking gross.
Yeah.
But you can get a Tanuki suit.
Yeah, I had the Tanuki suit. I had everything unlocked.
Yeah.
On my PS4 playthrough of Dying Light.
Yeah.
And then my data corrupted when there was an update.
Gross.
Mm-hmm. And it's gone. So I have a new game that I'm playing on Steam. No, on Epic. And I'm like 5% into the game. 5% of the way into the game story.
I don't know. I just never really got into Dying Light. I kind of understand its appeal.
Well, Dying Light is like a more functional, better version of Dead Island.
Yeah, but I also never really got into Dead Island either.
And I think actually playing Dying Light I think I liked Dead Island more.
Dead Island 2 is apparently just a much better version of the original Dead Island.
Because Dead Island is like...
And obviously far superior to Dead Island Riptide, which no one liked.
Dead Island's got, like... Dead Island is a brighter, more colorful game.
Yeah.
And, like, it doesn't take... It's not like the super nitty-gritty zombie apocalypse.
No, it's almost like a more modern version of Dead Rising.
Like, Dying Light...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, Dying Light, the entire color palette is, like, browns and grays.
Yeah.
And, like...
muted colors.
It's not...
all dirty and grungy.
It's not that fun to, like, look at.
Yeah, and, like, it has moral quandaries about whether or not you should help certain people and whatnot, but, like, not really.
Yeah.
None of them are hard decisions.
Also, Dead Island doesn't give me moral quandaries like that.
Yeah.
Dead Island's like, hey, there's zombies.
Kill them.
Maybe we should kill them.
Hey, look, that's a living person. Cool.
Also, you know what Dead Island also doesn't do?
What's up?
Introduce a bunch of new game mechanics in the last 5 minutes to make the final boss fight harder. And I don't mean, like, game mechanics that, like, you would expect a boss to introduce. I mean, like, there are suddenly now enemies that just have dynamite strapped to them, apparently.
Yeah,
and
no visual sign of it.
Yeah.
They just explode.
They introduce quick time events, which haven't been in the game at all until this moment. Bunch of bullshit. Dying Light's ending is garbage. Fight me.
Fair.
I am thinking about buying, Pinocchio, Souls-like.
Lives of P? Lives of P?
It's on sale right now for $30
and it has a new DLC, Lives of P Overture.
Yeah, and, like, it looks so good.
Everything I've heard, it's the closest you're going to get to Bloodborne anytime soon on PC.
God, I want Bloodborne so badly for PC. You don't understand how many hours of my life I would lose to Bloodborne on PC.
No, I understand. I've seen how you play video games sometimes.
You know how I have 130 hours in Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Wouldn't even be a drop in the bucket of Bloodborne. Not even close.
Yeah, I believe it.
Bloodborne would so quickly become my top played game, like, it would be ridiculous.
I just want you to get Lies of P, so when you fail to get one of the endings, I can lord over you the fact that I know how to do it, and it's so fucking dumb, and is never even reasonably explained in the game.
Well, that'd be interesting, because if my track record with Souls games, and my track record at large with games in general, holds, even if I get and love Lies of P, I'll never beat it, so...
Isn't that your track record with all games, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, I missed that part.
Soulsborne, specifically, but at large, games in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm bad about finishing.
What about Hades?
I've beat Hades so many times. I love that game so much.
What about Hades 2?
I haven't beat it because it's not out yet, but I beat the final boss twice now.
Nice. What about Blueprints?
I haven't beat it technically. Blueprints, like...
Fair.
I succeeded in finding the 46th room in the time limit, but there's so much more. That game is so huge. Holy shit.
I was just trying to point out positive instances of you beating a game.
Oh, yeah.
And rather recently, and being like, no, look, you're getting better.
Well, Outer Worlds is a good example.
Yeah, like, Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds is a game that I had beat for like a year and a half. I just hadn't done the final mission and boss fight because I didn't want to roll credits because I loved the characters too much.
Fair. There's DLC you haven't played.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to, like, roll credits on those characters because Favati is, like, my favorite companion that's ever companioned in any video game ever.
That's basically where I am at in Cyberpunk 2077. Literally the only actual story quest I have left to do. If I go to do it, it gives me that fun prompt games give you. It's like, if you do this, you're locked in.
That's where I was at in Outer Worlds for a long time.
Gotta love open world games being like, okay. Let's get serious now, though.
And you're like, yeah, but that means I have to say goodbye.
Not playing the game anymore. Bye.
That's actually a really good point because, like, the game is like, well, we're here. It's the end. Strap in. It's time to say goodbye. And instead I go, yep, goodbye. I will not say goodbye to these characters. Fuck you. You can't make me.
Yeah. Like, Cyberpunk 2077, I think I still have a few side missions I can do.
Yeah.
Like, maybe 5.
How far did you get in Outer Worlds before you put it down? I know you were playing it.
Basically to the point where it's like, hey, finish the game.
Okay, yeah, you got there too.
And I have a few DLC I can finish out.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I got to that point and I went, oh, let's go do the DLC. Let's go do the DLC.
This is a question I have to ask because you're the only other person I know who's actively like played through this game. Aren't the companions in Outer Worlds, A, so much more efficient than companions in other games, and B, characters. I love them.
Everyone but the priest, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
And even then, I don't dislike him. Well, I do dislike him, but I don't dislike his characterization. Like, but I do dislike him, you know what I mean?
I have actively chosen in every other, like, this is a Obsidian RPG, but like every open world RPG like this, Bethesda games, Obsidian, etc. I have actively chosen to go, I don't want a companion unless it's a dog.
Fair.
But in Outer Worlds, it's like, I love these companions.
Or I'll get as close as I can to, by which I mean Dragon Age. Oh, I can have 3 other people? Hey, Alistair, you're never in my party? My dog's with me.
Yep.
And then I got spellcasters, so they have range and can heal me. That is his name, right? I feel like it is. I think I'm right.
The other member of
the Grey Warden that you start with from like the very beginning?
Yeah. But yeah, Outer Worlds was the first time I was like, I like companions and I want to have them around me.
Fair. The companions in Baldur's Gate aren't bad either. Though I haven't played very far into it.
That's fair. I never got out of Act 1.
Neither did I. I was playing and my brain just went, and I'd rather just play D&D.
I'm going to try to go back to it and play, but I was like, I don't even know where I'm at in the story. Like, I'm in these caves doing this thing, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, fuck, do I just have to restart? That's 30 hours. Gross. What am I doing? Like... Yeah.
I get that, I do.
So I went grocery shopping today.
Yeah.
Completely unrelated. It does tie back into the Square Enix bit earlier.
Okay.
And I was like, I wonder if they have Final Fantasy Magic cards in yet.
No.
They did. They have...
Oh, wild.
They had 3 of the 4 Commander decks in.
Okay.
They had a whole bunch of packs.
Mm-hmm.
They had this box of packs that's 3 packs and a promo.
What was the promo?
It was... what's her name? Final Fantasy VI protagonist?
Terra.
It had Terra promo. And then they had the bundles, which had 2 promos, one of which was Lightning, and the other promo is Sephiroth.
Pog.
And I was like, ooh, yeah, I might just pick up a bundle, because like the dice is white and it has a chocobo where the 20 goes.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah. And I was like,
if only they weren't spin downs. I would just use a 20-sided die with a chocobo.
I was like, oh, sweet. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I don't know if I can actually, like, reasonably buy this. Because you don't know how much a bundle of Final Fantasy is for 10 packs, a spin down, and 2
$90.
promos? $70.
Close.
Although,
normally, like, what, 40?
Yeah, normally, like, $45 for, yeah. And this is retail price, is $70.
Hey, remember when WotC said that they weren't going to let their Universes Beyond stuff affect their MSRP for their stuff? Or wasn't ever going to become standard legal. How's that going?
Oh, very great. Although I'm thinking I might go spend all the money in my bank account tomorrow on bundles. Because online they're selling for $120 a piece. So
$30 profit, yeah?
Yeah. I keep one for myself. It might be free if I sell enough.
I mean, with the GameStop no longer in existence, it doesn't seem like they sell out as quickly now.
No, that's actually a very valid point.
Because I know people would go to Walmart, buy them, and then walk over to GameStop and resell unopened boxes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Gross as fuck.
Saw people do it when I was working at Walmart.
Gross as fuck. All right.
Because I was there for like the opening hour.
That explains it.
Product would release, and I'd see people walk in, grab multiple boxes, and then I'd see them walk over to GameStop.
Yeah.
Even though GameStop wasn't open yet. I literally saw people just waiting in their cars for GameStop to open and go sell Magic cards to them.
But yeah, I really want the Chocobo spin down, and like there's so many individual cards I want out of the set, and this is why you should buy singles and not sealed, and it's also why you should play with proxies.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think I'm out of topics.
I am also out of topics.
I lied, I have one more topic.
Liar.
It's partially your fault.
Damn.
So in the last week, restarted 2 of my favorite sitcoms of all time.
Yeah.
Psych.
Psych is so fucking good, man.
And New Girl.
New Girl's good. I did cause that one, yeah.
And it got me thinking, if Psych is a top 5 sitcom of all time, and it is.
It's fantastic. It's so fucking good.
It might be the number 1 sitcom of all time. It might be the literal best sitcom.
And it's an hour-long sitcom. Gotta love it.
I don't even know if it's technically a sitcom, but you know what? It has the vibe.
True.
And if New Girl is a top 5 sitcom, and it is, what are the other 3 top 5 sitcoms? For me, I know Scrubs and Community. What's the 5th top 5 sitcom? I don't know if I think it might be 30 Rock for me. I think 30 Rock, Scrubs, Community, Psych, New Girl makes up my top 5 sitcoms.
I'm not opposed.
Even though I think Psych is technically a crime procedural drama.
Yeah.
Procedural comedy.
But it has sitcom vibes, so we're going to go with it. I think I would axe 30 Rock for Brooklyn 911.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that's what it is. I can never fucking remember its name. Yeah, it's the 99th Precinct. Yeah. I think I would cut 30 Rock for Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Fair enough. I haven't seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I've been told it's very, very good.
I quite enjoy it.
30 Rock is just...
It's also very, very good.
It's a Bakugan. It's a Bakuman.
No, it's Bakugan.
No.
It's a tiny little sphere, like the Rock, that when you roll it, it surprises you.
No, but it's very much a Bakuman for me.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's...
You watch it at the right time in life.
Well, no, not in that way. What I mean is, it's a behind the scenes of, like, the creation of this, like...
But a sitcom.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It dramatizes what it's actually like to work on, like,
and that's also where you like
SNL.
Psych, because it's a behind the scene of being a psychic.
A scam artist.
And dramatizes it.
A scoundrel. Look, Gus, the only way they will prove I'm not a psychic is if I say I'm not a psychic. And I can promise you the one thing I will never say is that I'm not a psychic.
Yeah? John Cena appears in that show.
John Cena does appear in that show.
There we go. Everything's been tied together. We can end the episode.
All in a nice little bow. John Cena, who is now the current WWE champion.
Sorry, forgot to tie one in. Brandon Sanderson wrote Thanks for Watsy at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's all tied together.
It all ties up in a nice little bow. Big Show also shows up in Psych at one point.
Yeah.
Psych's a good show.
Yeah, but I think that's it then.
Is John Cena is the main character's brother-in-law, right?
No.
At the end of the show?
Yes, at the end of the show, yeah.
Yeah.
My brain skipped the in-law bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for hanging out in the cockpit with us, and please join us in the Cosmere next month when we discuss Wind and Truth, and all the spoilers that will entail.
So many!
Until then, catch us on the next flight on the 22nd.